Imagine waking up each morning uncertain if you'd make it back home alive. This wasn't some thrill-seeker's choice or an adrenaline junkie's fantasy. It was the grim reality for countless workers in the past. Today, we're diving into the most dangerous jobs in history you've probably never heard of. Buckle up, because some of these will blow your mind. Let's kick things off with a job that sounds like something from a horror movie: the sin eater. Originating from Britain in the 17th century, sin eaters were hired to consume the sins of the deceased by eating a ritual meal placed on the corpse. Yes, you heard that right. They believed this macabre meal would absolve the departed soul, but it certainly didn't do wonders for the sin eater's social standing or health. Would you have taken a bite to save someone's soul? Let us know in the comments. From the eerie to the explosive, dynamite factory workers in the late 19th and early 20th centuries faced a rather, shall we say, hands-on job. Manufacturing dynamite meant dealing with nitroglycerin, a liquid with the explosive power of a Hollywood action scene. Just one slip or jolt, and you could be sent flying without a parachute. And yet, thousands took the risk for the meager paycheck. So what's your threshold for danger when it comes to a paycheck? Next, we're diving into the murky waters of the Thames with the unbelievably perilous job of a tosher. In the Victorian era, these enterprising souls scavenged through raw sewage in London sewers for anything of value. Armed with nothing more than a pole and a candle, they braved infectious diseases and the occasional rat infestation. Hard to believe you don't see this job on career day, right? Now, ever heard of the groom of the stool? This royal occupation wasn't about fancy bathrooms, but attending to the king's personal hygiene needs. Yes, that includes what you're afraid I'm implying. This position was so intimate that those who held it could become powerful confidants of the monarch. Talk about getting your hands dirty for some job security. If you had to choose, which royal would you groom? Shifting gears to the high seas, let's talk about whalers in the 18th and 19th centuries. After waving goodbye to land for months, these sailors would risk life and limb to harpoon whales in tiny boats, battling storms and freezing temperatures. Not to mention the added thrill of wrestling with a creature that could easily obliterate your boat. A heart-pounding career, for sure. Could you have braved the oceans for that prize catch? Let's not forget the chimney sweeps of the Industrial Revolution. Usually children as young as 5, employed to clean chimneys in homes and factories. They contorted their small bodies to fit narrow, soot-filled flues, often without protective gear. The risk of getting stuck or falling was high, and long-term health impacts were severe. It's a sobering reminder of a time before child labor laws. Zooming ahead into the Wild West, the job of a Pony Express rider was the stuff of legends. These guys rode through rough terrain and hostile territories at breakneck speeds, all to deliver the mail. The journey was fraught with danger from bandits and weather, yet the promise of adventure and decent pay was enough to attract the bravest or craziest riders. Would the thrill of the ride tempt you? Finally, who could forget the matchstick makers in the 19th century? These workers, predominantly women and children, were exposed to toxic phosphorus fumes that caused phossy jaw, a horrific disease that eroded the jawbone. Despite the gruesome outcomes, the demand for matches kept these factories bustling. Just imagine, lighting a match could mean lighting your life on fire in more ways than one. As we wrap up our journey through time, it's clear that history is brimming with dangerous and deadly occupations undertaken by those driven by desperation, duty, or sheer bravery. So next time you grumble about your workload, remember you're not wading through sewage or playing with nitroglycerin. Which job would get your vote as the absolute worst? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know. Maybe you'll inspire our next dive into history's hazardous past. Until then, stay safe and appreciate the modern-day office.